Holy Anna! Whoo! Thank gosh this is live and we don't edit live podcasts. Oh, anyway, welcome to the Third Thursday podcast. I'm your host, Branden Bodendorfer. It is 2026 and we are diving into year front and center. And one thing that has come up in so many conversations that I've had with so many of each and every one of you is AI. Branden, what are you doing with AI? How is it affecting your business? How will it affect mine? I can tell you time and time again over the last month as I have had all these business coaching sessions and we've talked about our strategy, we talk about our year, AI has been part of the conversation. Let me tell you why. Maybe you're new to AI, maybe you're not. But maybe you've already used AI and you're probably thinking back and saying, hey, I've tried AI, it's giving me the wrong answers, it's hallucinated things, and it's not for me. I don't think people are going to use it. I don't think it's going to take over the world. It's not going to affect my shelves. I ask you, when was the last time you tried? Was that like a version 6 months ago, a year ago, a year and a half ago? Because I can tell you this, in 2022, AI was solving simple math problems. A year later, it was passing the bar. A year after that, it was solving complex rhythm questions, things I don't even know nothing about. And today, it's actually coaching itself. They actually say AI is doubling its knowledge base every 6 months. And I've seen this firsthand. In my own industry, I come from a marketing background. As we do work for clients, as we build our own content, I am seeing how AI is starting to shape. And a year ago, I thought to myself, now I go back on that, 18 months to 2 years ago, I said, this could be a way to help me with my emails, maybe help me write some things, have a little more structure to it. And then as I would use it, I would say, that doesn't seem human. Those aren't words that I use in the Midwest. Okay, then I fast forward. I say, okay, this is cool. It's improved. I can use it now for email. Maybe I'll start using it for creating some graphics. And like, ooh, that looks like they just stacked a whole bunch of stuff and we call it slop on a page. I'm doing things now with Nano Banana and Adobe where I'm placing vehicles in downtowns with people walking by them. And someone that's a photographer, I don't know if you've ever seen any of my photos of eagles and landscapes and solar clips. As someone that looks at the pixels and cares about the quality, this stuff is really cutting edge to the point that I'm actually using it in the content that I'm creating. And if it's accelerated that much in the last 18 months, what is it going to do for you and each one of us in the next 6 to 12 to 36 months? Now, every one of the conversations that I've had this year has been about how it will impact my business, right? To the point that we know we need to pay attention to AI because some point or another throughout the year, it's probably going to foot itself more and more in my organization. And we start thinking about how it might, as if it might affect the employment base that we have. There might be processes that we can take over with AI. It might become part of our workflow. And these have all started to become conversations that have been kind of exciting because I was on a conversation today with someone that was using Copilot and Excel, and they eliminated over 4 hours of their own time each and every week by updating these Excel documents. They're now asking Copilot to pull all the data together and create the reports for them. And she said to me, she goes, this is amazing. I got back 4 hours of my time. And if I can do this with all the different forms and different documents that we put out each and every month, I cannot wait to see the cost savings, maybe even the people strain. And they were excited about that. However, not many of the conversations that I had yet this year have talked about how your customer will find you, how AI will affect your revenue stream. If we can save money by reducing expenses and speed up processes and make things better, I'm all about that. But as someone that is also in the business of marketing to gain revenue and traction and brand awareness for the organizations that we live and breathe in, I'm concerned. Because when you think about marketing, and you think about all the different ways that you gather people to see your organization, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people would say, yep, it's a lot of billboards, a lot of salesmen knocking on door to doors, it's print ads. Internet started to evolve, it became more attractive. We started moving to the digital space of social media. COVID came forth and people stopped knocking on doors. And now we really have embraced this digital phase where people are looking for solutions. They go online, they ask questions, they ask for places where can I find the closest print shop near me? Where can I get new tires near me? What is the best place to get an oil change? And we, as companies have done good jobs of putting ourselves front and center by doing things to either create paid ads, paid marketing, optimize some Google search keywords, and relied on word of mouth because we know at the end of the day that that's some of our best traffic. But AI doesn't care about any of that. AI is built on answering the user's question through trust and authority. Let's take a moment to think about that. You've probably started to use AI yourself. And don't think of AI today of what it's going to be like in a few months or even a few years. Today, a lot of people are using AI as a glorified search platform. They're going to AI and they're writing out a complex question of like, I have a sound that's coming from my front left tire whenever I push on my brake pad or my brake pedal. And AI will come back and it'll give you some different ideas. It'll kind of self-diagnose the issue and it gives you some fix-its, right? And you might be able to experiment with that. And then you can, basically say, well, I can't figure it out. Can you give me some hints on where I should go? And it'll plug into, Google Maps or Apple Maps or Yelp or wherever it is, and it'll give you some vendors that might be able to help you with the solution. And it's able to do that today. Where we're going to a place where AI is going to think for us, and it's going to learn our behaviors. Through using it, we're going to train it who we are, what we're looking for. And it's going to give us not only instant gratification, but it's going to give us real-time results that we're going to basically say, yes, I'm going to use AI more and more and more. AI is going to be that best word-of-mouth customer that you have. My question to you is, what are you doing today in your business to build that trust and authority? Because that's what AI is really going to base itself on. It's going to look at all your reviews. It's going to look at all the different content you have out there. And it's going to say, hey, Joe, are you an expert in plumbing, or do you just provide a plumbing business and have services that are tied to it? It's going to look at Joe and it's going to say, Joe, your plumbing business has all these features, has all these products and services, but this is what your customers say. This is what the reviews say. This is what the internet says about the solutions and resolutions to the problems that your customers are experiencing. And it may or may not even recommend you. I'm sharing this podcast with you as I dive into the year and we talk about AI. One of the things that seems to transition on so many conversations that I'm having is, Branden, we recognize you, your planner, your planning styles, your different support systems across AI. I've had so many new customers tell us that said, hey, AI recommended you to me as a planning system because I struggle with having focus and retaining memory, and I can't get all the notations of what it is that I need to achieve in the correct order. And AI said, hey, I need to look at a planning system to help me do that. And it said, you're the guy to coach me through this. I'm sitting back and saying, hey, that's a positive impact to my revenue stream. And I want to share this with you so you can learn how AI can be a positive revenue stream for you. See, through building content, through producing information that is going to give real results, real answers. So when we look at how we frame and structure our websites, so many of us are trying to create a transactional conversation with our customers. We're trying to load them up with all the products, features, and benefits to why they want to say yes. But the reality is, we want to have our site load up information that informs our customer, educates them, answers questions that they have, overcomes issues that they might surface with a particular product or service, or overcome a problem that they have non-related to your product or services, but as part of the process of learning who you are to help find a solution in their quest. So one thing that we do is we look at your individual business. We look at the products and services you have. We look at the area that you service. We look at all your competitors. We look at your reviews, how your other customers rank in those same reviews for those different service areas and products that you have to offer. We start to look at the different questions that are being asked online. We look at your visibility that's taking place in the AI different models. Because it's no longer about Bing or Google search. It's about ChatGPT, Claude, Complexity, Grok, and the list will go on and on. We're going to see AI introduced to a handful of different products this year, and we've started to showcase them already on some of our websites of different videos that we've done. I just did a video on a product that could take my planner, look at my day, summarize it, send an email to my team telling them when I'm available for them to ask me questions, and in a polite way tell them, hey, I need to focus on these other time blocks. And to me, that's awesome. But AI is going to be integrated into our phones. It's going to know our locations. It's going to know these things, and it's going to give real-time results to the questions that we asked. Maybe this was all Greek to you. Maybe you started to go down a rabbit hole of thinking about how AI might impact your business, might impact your community. And it could be very scary because it's unknown. And that is what I always find whenever I do planning and coaching. It's the unknowns that scare us and kind of put us in a box where we don't look to achieve new things. We don't want to step into the dark. We want to stay into the light. But it's until we shed light on the darkness that we begin to explore the opportunities that exist. I invite you to have a conversation with me. If your business, your organization wants to become dominant in the AI search, you want to build that trust and authority so that when AI gives a recommendation, you're the best result, reach out to me. I can't tell you exactly what to do in every single case over this podcast, because what's important to know about AI is we want to build rich data that's not templated. If you got a company out there, maybe you're in the automotive space or you're a barber or a realtor, and there's a company out there that says, hey, I can get you seen on AI, and they sign you up and it's a template-like experience, I'm going to tell you the results will not be real in time, because the content they're doing for you, they're doing for your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor. And eventually AI is smart enough to see through all that and will recognize that as content that really doesn't provide you the authority as the expert in your field. I actually believe that this is a revolutionary time in our lives. Just like if you sat back 15, 20 years ago when social media didn't come out, you thought to yourself, I'm not going to put my business in the space of social media. I'm not going to get on a social media platform. The yellow book and the phone book's working just fine. I'm not going to invest in building out my Google Maps page. We're doing okay. You probably sat back several years later and said, I missed it. I missed the opportunity to build out a great social media platform, and I missed all the people that were starting to discover the process and gain rapid integration into the systems and huge amount of follower base. I missed out on the opportunity to gain traction on my competitors in Google Maps and Apple Maps and Yelp and all the other different review programs out there. I'm telling you, don't do that again. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. However, it's not something that's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity over the next 3 or 4 years. It's something that you need to start addressing today and start building a plan, start integrating yourself into the process and evolve with systems as they develop if you want to get real results. And I'd love to have a conversation about that with you. One of my goals this year is not only to teach all the different people that use my planner how to be more productive and effective. I want to give you guys more insights on how some of these external things are going to affect you internally. I want our planning system that is very much an analog process to be very digital and cutting edge, because I believe that when we connect our minds to paper, when we illustrate the thoughts and ideas that we have, we're already one step ahead. When we start to bring other things into the play like AI and showcase our thoughts and ideas into a world of darkness that we don't have the expertise on, we're going to open up a lot of light on the capabilities and opportunities that are really in front of us with the thoughts and ideas that are at our table. I'm excited for this. I'm excited what's to come. I am a little bit nervous, but I feel at the end of the day, if I work ahead of the curve and I'm blazing the trail, I will be in the frontier the entire way, and I will have success at the end of the journey. And I want that for you, and I want you to join me in this process. So my information, my contact is in the description. Give me an email, hop on our website, start a chat. Let's talk about how AI can become part of your process today. With that being said, that is our third Thursday podcast for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you tuned in next month. If you haven't listened to any of the other podcasts, there's some really good ones out there. Some ones that I really encourage you to take a peek at, especially that sum of all 5 people, or about being a lighthouse or a bridge and how to be instrumental as part of a change process in your business as you start to explore this year. Those podcasts are going to help enrich your mind on how you should be thinking. I'm Branden Bodendorfer. See you next time.